guys, welcome to Woken Pretty. It's Meera and Min.
Hey,
Let's talk about Matthew Perry. Get into it,
this is
Min.
a
What
sad
happened?
episode. This is a sad episode.
I
I
saw
honestly
that he
thought it was a joke. It popped up on my feed and I thought it was a joke. I obviously, because I think it was on Facebook when I saw it, and I was like, okay, no offense to Facebook, but 90% of your stuff.
What? Facebook's not true?
So it popped up on my feed and I was like, wait a second, this can't be right. So I literally went to Google and Google was popping off about how Matthew Perry had died alone in his house. It looked like he had drowned. There was no foul play and it didn't look like drugs were involved. And then obviously, like within a matter of minutes, because we live in a social media world, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, everybody was on social media talking about how impactful he had made on their lives. Now, obviously, we aren't part of the Friends cast, but anybody who watched Friends feels like Matthew Perry was like their Thursday or Friday. It was Thursday nights that Friends aired, I think. Thursday night buddy, or maybe it was Monday.
Right.
I don't remember. Regardless, but I think this is so sad because in an interview that he did when he released his book, he said, "When I die, people will be shocked but not surprised."
Okay, so when I found out about it, somebody said it to me. I had some friends over on Saturday and they're like, oh my God, Matthew Perry died. And I was like, oh, and then somebody else said, oh yeah, a parent drowning. And my reaction was not surprised. And I said, that makes me sad because he seemed was someone that we think we know, but he obviously struggled and had demons. And it wasn't surprising to me. And I was like, I hope that it makes me sad that it's probably drug related or something related is what I thought. And I said, the drowning seems improbable unless there were drugs involved. But I feel bad for his family and his friends because this is something that he struggled with. And that was literally my reaction. And that's what I said to my friends. And then we moved on. And obviously over the weekend, things hit and all the celebs are coming out and doing their ways of memorable things that they've had with him, similar to when someone dies, you write it on the website. They're doing it on social media because he's obviously such an influential person. And people are like, the one thing I noticed, I'm not as up to date on his autopsy and all that stuff. And I know it all came out. So you can tell me because I don't know as much, but I find it interesting. Two things I found interesting from me scrolling through social media today. One, people are coming at others for their memories. Like Gwyneth Paltrow, I guess they had a moment before he became big. And when I say a moment, I'll use the Jada and Will word, entanglement. People are coming at her. Let her have her memory. That's what she wants to write about.
And listen, if that's what they had, you weren't there, you don't know.
People are coming for her. We all know we don't like her. Just let her be. Let her have her memory. But they're criticizing everybody's memory of him, which I thought was very strange. And then the other thing that the internet trolls are criticizing is that the Friends cast haven't spoken up about it and haven't shared anything.
Oh my goodness.
Of course. And my thing is, why do you feel like they have to? These are his friends. Just because we feel like they're our friends, they do not owe us anything. They are allowed to grieve the way that they want to grieve. Maybe they want to be together. Maybe they want to be separate. This is a friend, a close friend of their crew that they had this memorable experience with for over a decade.
Yeah.
And then some, right? I also said on Saturday like a jerk, I'm like, thank God they had their little reunion. Because
you know what's funny is I was thinking the exact same thing. I was like, I'm glad they did the reunion before all of this happened, because I don't think it would have been the same without Matthew Perry.
Oh, 100%. Now it's going to be some kind of memory thing. And look, they're older. Like things are going to happen. Like you could be young and something can happen to you right now. I hear about young people having moments all the time and it's just really sad, but they were in their 50s and 60s. So
that's the other thing. He was still relatively young. He was what, 56?
54? Oh, okay. Yeah, so mid-50s. That is young. That is young, but for somebody who struggled a lot of his life, like everybody has their things, everybody has their demons, everybody has their moments.
And I think what we need to remember, exactly. And I think what we need to remember as people and as humans is that you don't know what happens behind closed doors. You don't know. We only see glimpses of what people will give us. And if you think that what happens on social media is real, it's a highlight reel. 90% of the stuff that you see on social media are highlight reels of people's lives, and nobody wants to share the struggle of battling your addiction and what that looks like on a day-to-day. And also very few people want to see that. So really, like, people share the wins. Like, for instance, Meera, you just went back into the corporate world. So let's talk for a second about how you spent like a year as an entrepreneur trying to figure it out and how hard that was.
It was a year and a half. And I actually just had a conversation about this morning with someone. And as an entrepreneur, if anyone's out there with a side hustle or an entrepreneur, it's up and down, but you're doing it for yourself. So there's a joy in it. But I've always said, I'm doing this because actually a friend of mine, an old supervisor of mine, had asked me when I met with him, he was like, if you made 30,000 plus a month, you're not going back to work. And I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure I'm going to go back to work. I just generally found joy in the work that I did. It just wasn't in the right capacity.
Right.
And I'm still in pursuit of that. But this is just me finding me and doing something for me. And basically how I look at it, I recentered myself and I found joy in the things that I was doing. I tried to say yes to a lot of things, even though they made me uncomfortable. So some of the things that I did during that time, I never would have done. Guys, I did a corporate video for a brand, like a lingerie brand. No, I was not wearing lingerie. Okay, actually, wait, maybe a little bit. But it's for their internal corporate video. I did that. I never in my million years would have ever thought to do that. And I had so much fun that I considered being an extra in New York in some of the shows here because that was so much fun. And I never would have found out that I love that. I did not mind being in front of the camera at all. To me, it was nothing. I followed direction really well. I had such a joyous experience. Other things that I learned about myself was I have a lot more patience than I thought I did. I truly do. I don't know where it comes from. I always thought I was an impatient person, but I think when it comes to projects, I'm really good at focusing and I'm really good at following through. But I've also learned a lot of bad things about myself.
Yeah.
And I never, listen, no one knows what an entrepreneur life is until you're an entrepreneur.
It's true.
Period.
Yeah.
No one knows who you are unless you tell them these experiences, and you still will forget. Even if you talk to somebody every day, you still would forget to tell them things. Yeah. So we don't know what was going on in his life. We don't know what's going on in Jennifer Aniston's life, and we can sit here and criticize her childless, marriageless life, and what does she have?
But again, if you dig in a little bit, you will see that like Adam Sandler and his wife send Jennifer Aniston Mother's Day flowers every year because she's been struggling with infertility.
Of course, but we don't know
any of it. We didn't know any of that. They've been doing it for years, and we don't even know how long they've been doing it.
But why should we? Why should we know that about her? And you know that about your neighbor.
I'm with you. You don't deserve to know it. Listen.
No.
Meera, I've told you this on multiple episodes, but I did some massive changes in my life this year. I stepped into a new season and I let go of a bunch of people. And I think those people still feel like they're entitled to know certain things about my life. You aren't entitled. You're entitled to nothing. If they want to share it,
but you come into this world alone, you leave this world alone.
Yeah.
Period. Your friends can be around you, your family can be around you, but it's who you choose. And honestly, you step into a season. I've been stepping into my seasons. My seasons just keep changing and I'm just embracing it. Yeah. And if you weren't stepping into a new season, Min, we would not be doing this today.
No. Exactly.
We found each other in the best way possible. And by the way, for all those people listening to us, thank you.
Oh my gosh, huge thank you. Speaking of which, by the way, we're about to hit a milestone in downloads on Woke and Pretty. So we definitely want to thank you guys. We'll let you know when we hit that milestone, but we're very close to it. So keep listening in.
But if you're listening to us every day in the car, like I know some of you are, we're trying to keep our episodes a little shorter so you can get the full DL before you reach your work destination or whatnot. It's a process. Min and I have work. We have obligations. We have kids. We have all the things that we're doing, and we're still coming at you Monday to Friday. So thank you for that. We appreciate it. And we have fun. That's the important thing. And even though y'all are listening to us every day, you don't know us. You only know what we tell you. So this goes back to the point. It's only what we tell you. And Min and I had a real good powwow right before this recording. And guess what? We didn't record it for y'all because you're nosy and it's about me and you're not going to know. Maybe one day you'll know. But the whole thing was I needed that moment with my friend Min and I needed a sound off moment. And I didn't really want everyone to know it. These celebrities are in your face all the time. I think back to even Brittany. It was constant. Diana, constant. Remember JFK Jr.?
Yep.
That guy got it until the very end when he died in an airplane with his wife. And then we did it and no one talks about him anymore.
And I know that I get excited about Travis and Taylor, but they too are being hounded in the media so often.
Yeah. And I'm not saying, listen, some people enjoy it. We enjoy it. Clearly, we built our podcast, part of it on that. I like it. But I also think there's something to be said about the type of media that's put out about these celebrities. We don't need to be bashing people's children. We don't need to be fat shaming people. We don't need to make people feel a certain way because they have mental health issues. And you'll never know until they say it, but we shouldn't have that expectation that they should tell us everything. Really and truly. By the way, speaking of Travis and Taylor, one of my partners, one of my company that I work for, the partners that I'm working with, his office actually overlooks into Travis's new property. Min, close your mouth. He will not be buying binoculars. He will not be binoculars. Telling us he can see everything. Just saying.
Listen, honestly, it's one cool that he has a house in that area of, I was about to say Atlanta. It's not Atlanta. Kansas City. Two, Travis bought that home so that he could have a little more privacy for the fact that, one, he's dating a very large and well-known celebrity, and two, he did it because he wanted privacy too. I'm going to respect the fact a part of me wants to be like, Meera, can I get photos? But I'm not going to ask that because I still respect the fact that Travis and Taylor still deserve some form of privacy. It must be very hard to live in a fishbowl. Like, she had said in an interview that her Shake It Off song was about things that she can't control when people are dating her.
But dude, think about how Taylor enters her concert arena and exits her concert arena.
Yeah.
The fact that
based on a football game. Like, people have speculated that she goes in a catering cart so that she's not seen.
But that's how big she is. That's how big she is. In her concert, people would line up in the parking lot during the concert just to be there. She has that effect on people, and that's great. But it's also, damn, girl, like, maybe I just want to pick out with my girlfriends and not have people talk about it the next day. If I think about all the things that I do, which is not much, but if I think about all,
but think about what your 20s were like when you were out partying all the time. Could you imagine having paparazzi chase you? Or no. The things that I think about sometimes are when Britney Spears used to go out partying with Paris Hilton and who's the other chick? Lindsay Lohan. And remember how many times they would take a photo of her getting out of the car, speculating if she was wearing underwear? And I was like, man, let the girl live. If she don't,
I hated that underwear phase.
Oh, it was, but honestly, I felt like it was like a good 2 years of that.
That was disgusting. And honestly, I probably would have filed the lawsuit for like, I don't know, whatever peeping Toms get lawsuits for. Like, why are you looking at these girls' underwears? They did it
to Kate Middleton too when she was out partying.
Those pictures got scrubbed when she became queen or duchess,
whatever. But the reality is that celebrities are entitled to their privacy, which goes back to, I'm happy that the Friends cast hasn't spoken up yet because I don't know what this is probably like for them. They must be hard.
This is their friend. But also, I want them to speak up together and go through their feelings and their process. Like,
but do it offline without anybody else. But also,
no offense, if they don't speak up, that's okay for me. That's okay for me. I'm okay. I don't need to know that they're hurting. I don't need to know, unless they're going to say something like, oh, he was not that great of a guy. I don't care. We know that they lost a loved one, period.
Yeah.
That's it. That's how I see it. The world is feeling that way, so I can't imagine how it is for them. But yeah, that's it. Nothing they can say is going to change. We know what they're going to say. Their heart's broken. You know what my favorite movie of his was? It's not Fool's Russian, but that was fun.
It was cute. Fool's Russian was cute.
You're going to die. It's 17 Again.
Oh, I love 17 Again.
I don't know what it is about that movie.
With Zac Efron, it was adorable.
I loved Zac Efron in that movie for whatever reason. I love Matthew Perry in that movie. And what's the guy's name? Oh my God. The best friend.
The one that plays the uncle, the quote unquote uncle.
But he's one of Adam Sandler's guys too, right? Yeah. I love that movie so much. And I might watch it in tribute to him. / I probably know the words at this point. Thomas Lennon. Oh my God. So good. So good. Patrick Lennon was so good in that.
Oh, he was so good.
Oh, he wrote on Instagram.
I forgot about 17 Again. I'm going to have to watch that.
He wrote Good Night, Friend to Matthew.
Oh,
so sad. Anyways, that's how we feel about Matthew Perry.
And if we get to Mourn in Peace, like, when one of our friends passes away or one of our family members passes away,
Yeah.
I think the friends cast gets to mourn in peace, at
Yeah.
least for a little while.
It's a sad day when someone who brings joy to people, and when we look back at his work, that we feel that way. So, you know what? That's all I want to say about him. It's a good memory. His movies will always make me feel happy. Like he
I hope
really
he
just
didn't
had
feel
personal demon.
alone in that moment. I know he was alone, but I hope he didn't feel lonely in that moment.
He had dinner with a friend the night before, they said, right? He went to a
Hours
diner with a
before
friend.
that, he had taken a photo of him in his hot tub.
You don't know what's going on in people's minds.
I
You
know.
don't know what they're struggling with. You don't know what demons they have. You don't know what prescriptions they're on. I have a brother who is schizophrenic. Most people don't know that. And that has been a struggle for my family for, gosh, probably about 20 years. And every time it's hitting, some people don't even know I have a brother. Like I have two brothers, but that one, no, people don't even know I have a brother in Manhattan. He lives in Manhattan right now. And he goes up and down all the time. And we love him to death, but we can't pry, we can't push, we just have to notice his behavioral changes. And then still it's a helpless feeling, because no matter how much you say, oh, are you okay? Do you need something? Like, how are you feeling? It really doesn't matter. It just doesn't. Mental health, I wish that we would spend more resources on it. I wish that we would have safer places for people who are younger to understand it. He obviously had a lot of means. Did you know that he went to school with Justin Trudeau?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah. He grew up in Westmont.
Yeah, because his mom worked for Justin's dad.
Yeah.
So funny.
He came from a pretty wealthy family, and he grew up in a really wealthy part of Canada.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
But anyway, he is awesome. He's a good comedian.
Yeah. He's definitely going to be missed. And yeah. And I think it's impactful so much on our generation because we watched him, and
Yeah.
he left an impact.
Can he be any more impactful?
Oh, that was
I know.
perfect close, Meera.
Sorry. Thanks for listening to this tribute episode to Matthew Perry, guys. I hope you got something out of it. I hope you loved him as much as we did. Please keep listening and share this episode with anyone that you think could benefit from it. And obviously, hit us up. God, man, we've been getting some nice comments on YouTube. We'll talk about that later.
Ooh, yeah, we will.
Oh, yeah. I love my YouTube comments. I live for it. Ooh, I love the negative ones too. Ooh, God. The day I actually responded to one and told somebody they should listen to a full episode because they thought we were fighting about a restaurant situation. Am I the a-hole?
Oh,
They thought it was me and you fighting. They were like,
yeah.
why two grown ladies fighting in a restaurant? And I'm like, maybe you should listen to the full episode, sir. It was a sir. Anyway, thank you all for listening. Hit us up on social media at Woke Pretty Podcast. And of course, follow us, rate us if you can rate us. And if you want to write a review, please do. We love reading them. So until next time, bye, guys.
Bye.
Remember, you're the heartbeat of our podcast. Your support, your comments, and your enthusiasm keeps us fired up and ready to bring you more pop culture goodness each week. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss a moment of action. We'd love to hear your thoughts, suggestions, and even your own pop culture discoveries.
Connect with us on social media at Woken Pretty Podcast on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok.